Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Today a review of the Boldr Globetrotter automatic Swiss made GMT watch. So this is provided by Boldr Supply Company, which is a watch company based in Hong Kong, for review here on Watch On channel. And this is one of the more sophisticated watches that Boldr has done. If you remember, I reviewed the Expedition, and very recently I reviewed the Voyager, which was this very kind of old school vintage inspired dive watch on a NATO strap. Comes in this kind of pelican box. So inside you find the watch here. Now I obviously took out the watch, the strap and the buckle, so you can gather everything when you receive the watch. You have a little tool here to do it. And then you have warranty card and stuff like that here. So quite nice packaging. I don't know why they do it like this, that you have to assemble the watch, put on the strap and the buckle when you get it. So what do we have here? We have a very big, a very masculine and a very interesting Batman inspired GMT watch. So this is a Swiss made watch. It has the Swiss made movement ETA 2893-2 Elaborat grade. So this is one of the higher grades of the ETA movement. ETA is used by a lot of Swiss companies and a lot of other companies, and the Elaborate version is one of the higher versions of that movement. So this movement is a GMT movement, which is why we have this blue GMT hand, so you can count another time zone. And we have a date window here at 4 o'clock. So all in all, a very interesting watch with an interesting movement. And this is priced at $799 US. If you use the code WATCHON10, you can find the link or the code down below, and also the link to the watch. Then you get 10% off, and then it's approximately $720 US. So if you follow the watch world, you will know that the Batman craze is really going completely bananas these days, because Rolex introduced a new GMT Master Batman during the Baselworld in March. And after that, everybody who had one of the older Batmans, they could just sell the watch for $20,000 US, and it's completely crazy. So it comes in 4 versions. The Batman, it also comes in the red and the blue, which is the Pepsi, and then it comes in an all black and an all blue with some other dial configuration and other printing on numerals on the bezel insert. So this is a big watch. Let's just have the measurements right away. We get a 44mm case, including the crown. We're talking 47. The thickness is 15 millimeters. The lug width is 20. And a nice, quite interesting measurement of this is that you get approximately 51.5 to 52 millimeters from lug to lug, and that's a very interesting measurement because it tells a lot about how the watch is going to fit on your wrist. And it is a big, thick, very masculine watch. So what this basically is that it's a dual or triple time zone watch. So you can adjust to your second time zone, which you do with the blue hand when you arrive at another time zone, when you get off the plane, or even before you enter the plane, when you are flying out, you can adjust the time. You just unscrew the crown. It's a screw down crown. This is a 300-meter water resistant watch, which is really, really nice because it essentially also is a dive watch, at least with the water resistance. And in the first position, you change, just look at the blue hand. In 1 hour increments, you can set the time. So let's say we're 3 hours ahead. You will just rotate the GMT hand 3 hours. So turning the crown the other way, you would have a date change. Pulling it all the way out, you can set the time. So at 12 o'clock, the Boldr logo and Boldr and printing. Down here at 6 o'clock, it's quite hard to see. You get Globetrotter automatic in red. And then you get 300 meters, which is approximately 990 feet. It doesn't say Swiss made anywhere. That's probably because you need to put more parts into the watch than just the movement before you can call it Swiss made, but it is a very nice ETA movement, as I mentioned before. So the GMT movement from ETA and one of the higher grades. So that's quite nice. As I mentioned with the Voyager, I really like the crowns on the Boldr watches. They're super easy to grip, and I think the design looks really great and tooly. Looking further at the dial, you get the date window, as I said before, in negative down here at 4 o'clock, which is a nice thing. You get the 24-hour counter inside, in the rehoard inside of the dial here. Then you get very nice lume-filled hour markings inside of the watch. It's Super Luminova BGW9, so very nice lume which will last a long time during the night. You get a ceramic bezel insert with the blue and the black, which is why it's called the Batman, which is the Rolex term or the nickname for the Rolex GMT Master, which they mimic with this watch. Of course, it's not completely the same design, but they mimic it a little bit. And then you get a bidirectional bezel here as well. So actually you can use this bezel if you don't want to turn the GMT hand. You can use it to set the second time zone, or if you also use the GMT hand, you can actually have 3 time zones going at the same time, which is really, really cool. So I must say that the action here is super, super nice. It's super smooth. So looking at the case, you get a very tooly styled industrial with very sharp edges case, very, very short, very down curving locks. It's fully brushed. You get actually absolutely no polishing, which is really a testament to how much of a tool watch this watch is. Looking at the case back, we get the Boldr logo, limited edition, all the different information. It's an okay case back without too much to write home about, in my opinion. So the buckle is brushed stainless steel with the Boldr logo and Boldr printing. It's a 2-button release. It feels quite secure and nice. Milled metal. And here you also get a diver's extension, which is very interesting because this is essentially a traveler's watch and not a dive watch. So you push the buttons here, and then you get approximately a centimeter or a little more than a centimeter. And then you can just adjust it again. It comes on this very nice flexible rubber strap, which feels really, really good. You have no chance of adjusting the rubber strap. In here you actually have to cut off parts of the rubber strap, and that's absolutely no problem if this watch is your own and if you own it and you never plan to sell it to anybody who has a smaller wrist size than you. If you plan to sell it, or if you sell it at some point and you have cut off a lot, let's say that your wrist size is approximately the same size as me, which is 18 centimeters in circumference, well, then you will have a big problem if you cut a lot of the rubber strap. And look how big this rubber strap is. It's ridiculous. Who has this size, wrist size? It's ridiculous. I know it's a 44 millimeter watch, and as you can see, I can easily pull it off, or maybe just quite easily, not totally easily. But I think it fits really well. It's quite heavy watch, but I think it sits very nicely on the wrist, and it's like this big traveler's tool watch. I would never use this on a business trip, but definitely if you're going traveling, you're going to see places and you're going in water and hiking and stuff like that, this would be a really, really cool watch. Also with this very nice flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. It's very tough and durable because this is of course also ceramic, the insert, so it's very hard to scratch. And since you got a brushed case, then it's not as prone to scratches as if it was polished. But I find this completely ridiculous. Who has a wrist size this size? So in conclusion, I think that Boldr did a very interesting watch with a nice movement and nice materials. Overall, I like that they did their own thing. Of course, they're inspired by the Blue Noir, the Batman of Rolex, but I think they did their own thing. And as I said before, this comes in 4 different versions. So I definitely think this is one of the highlights within the Boldr watch companies or Boldr supply companies line or collection of watches. But I also think that it's a bit of a shame that they didn't do anything with the rubber strap, which would make it easier to adjust without having to cut it. I also think they should have done a smaller version of this. I can't really say anything too bad about this watch, but it's not a watch I would ever buy to my private collection. It's simply too clumsy and too big to really be a watch I would ever buy. Within the range of just short of $1,000 you could find a very nice Oris maybe, or some other brands, also Christopher Ward. They have fully Swiss made watches with 60 months guarantee on the movement, which are also with the GMT function. But if this is to your liking and you want this very masculine, very tooly travelers, explorers watch, then definitely the Globetrotter from Boldr Supply Company should be a watch that you had a closer look at. I hope you enjoyed the review of the Boldr Globetrotter. If you enjoyed this review, leave me a comment down below, give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I will see you very soon. Bye.